Welcome, everyone, back to CubeCon, the absolute last draft before tomorrow's Top 64 showdown. We are here with, I'm Justin Pardell, as you've seen all day, but I'm here with the one and the only, my good friend, David McDarby. I'm excited for you to be here.
I'm excited to be here, too. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Yeah. This is our first, I think, on-screen appearance in
a few years.
In almost a decade?
That's correct, yes.
Literally.
Yeah, that time flies.
That certainly does. Mm-hmm. So, obviously, we're not here to talk about Commander, though.
No, not this time.
We're here to talk about what, in my opinion, is the greatest format on Erebos' Green Earth.
It's a shorter word. Still starts with C.
It does.
It's Cube.
It is. And you, David, have moved on to be a game designer at Wizards of the Coast, and you primarily spend your time. You design a lot of cubes these days.
I do, yes. I've designed a lot of cubes for Magic Online and Arena.
Yeah.
Carmen Haney does a lot of the cubes for Midgo, Legacy Cube, Modern Cube, Vintage Cube. I've made a bunch of other cubes. Live the Dream Cube on Magic Online. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Yes.
On Arena, there's also the Mardu Cube, the Artifact Cube, and then on Arena, there's the Chromatic Cube.
Yes, that's a big one for Arena.
Coming out in a week, running it back.
Love it.
Check it out.
Love it.
But
I will check it out.
I make more cubes than Commander decks nowadays, actually.
That is a crazy stat.
Well, it turns out sometimes people don't want to play Commander, but if you got 7 people who want a cube,
everyone wants to cube.
Everyone wants to cube.
We got proof. We have proof over here that everybody wants to cube.
We're at CubeCon.
We are at CubeCon.
We have hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
You had a good time?
I had the best time. I'm playing Cube, talking about Magic, here with friends.
That's great.
What else do you want in Magic?
I mean, it is literally, this is the dream. Now, we're going to talk about the Live the Dream Cube, but we are actually living the real dream by being at this event.
It's very meta, living your own dream, talking about Live the Dream Cube.
It is super meta.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're here with me in my dream.
Honestly, like, I will be honest, the cube I wanted to cover the most from a cube standpoint was the old Border Foil Cube. I hope you can understand.
That was the first choice for me to play over the weekend.
But the coverage I wanted to do was this one with you on your cube.
Yeah.
I absolutely am thrilled to be able to do that. So
it's really nice.
And we have, of course, the Live the Dream Cube, which a lot of you watching at home have probably played. Because it's been, how many times has it been on Magic Online?
It was ran 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, in a year and a half period.
Okay, that's pretty good.
It's not bad. Well, I kind of got to run it myself when I was in that role.
Yeah, you're the decision maker. It's cool.
Yeah, but Vintage Cube is really popular.
I've heard.
Very popular.
Yeah.
And Live the Dream Cube has a unique play experience that, it's kind of like ice cream. It's great every day of your life.
That's exactly right. Yeah, thank you. I was going to say, we might disagree.
But for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you might not want that.
Maybe once a day for the rest of your life.
Once a day, exactly.
Yeah.
But like a good old like cheeseburger. I'm an American, so cheeseburger and fries.
Quite tasty.
Maybe that for lunch and dinner. I don't know. But yeah, Live the Dream Cube has been kind of my personal pet project, trying to port. Yeah.
I mean, this is so when I first saw, because when you published this cube the first time almost 2 years ago.
Yes.
Is that right?
No, that's exactly right.
I remember because it was yours. I think you posted it on Twitter, and I was like, oh my gosh, Darby got one of this. Like, what? This is not just one of your cubes, but the McDarby cube.
It is.
I know you because I know how you like to play Magic, and this is the embodiment of you in cube form.
It is. Somebody say I like to call it my magnum opus, to borrow a card term that was made. This is trying to emulate sort of the Commander experience, but in cube. So you want to just talk about the cube now?
Big mana cost, big dreams. Go ahead.
Yeah, big mana cost, big dreams. Trying to reduce feel bads, but honestly, mana ramp into big, splashy, expensive, fun spells that kind of push the limits of fun you can have in a cube.
Okay.
Like maybe like casting Time Walks. Not as many Time Walks as there used to be.
Okay.
So it turns out taking extra turns in a cube where you can't play Savannah Lines is really strong.
Yeah.
So lots of colored spells. Like it's not quite as colorful as the Rainbow Synergy Cube 2.0. None are. But it's quite colorful in terms of what you play. So you want mana rocks.
Yeah, got a lot of fixing in there.
A lot of fixing, a lot of ramp. So my first draft in the cube, a lot of times you want to just take lands, but you also want rocks to play a commander. Like there are, I think, 115 legendary creatures in the cube.
Wow.
So odds are your commander's in the cube. Odds are.
I'm going to run through them real quick.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Speed run.
Yes.
Dragon Lord Ojutai.
No. We have another. Is that we're done?
Oh, we used that's
probably the speed run.
Wash the hate seed.
15. No, Ulash is not in there. Okay, you're making me look real bad.
Name a new one.
Yes. Name a gold one. More than two colors. More than two colors.
Corvold, Faker's King.
In the cube.
Yes.
In the cube.
Okay. More than two colors. Nicol Bolas the Ravager.
No, because two other Nicol Boli are in the cube.
Okay. Rule 0, because the actual commander of that deck is Nicol Bolas, Dragon God.
Correct. In the cube.
Okay. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see. 3 colors. Extus.
Let's name 5 colors.
Okay.
First off, Extus is 2 colors.
Extus, not a commander.
Anyway, 5 color. Name 5 color legendary creatures.
I only have one 5-color deck. It's Okagachi, Vengeful Kami.
Oh.
That's probably not in the cube. I cannot imagine that one's in the cube. But you do have the Kami War.
The Kami War.
Which is actually turns into Okagachi.
It does, that's correct.
That's a half point.
I'll take it. It rounds up to 1
I'll give
to
it
play
to
D&D.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not bad. Not bad.
I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, no, as far as like ratio to my commander decks.
Oh, your commander decks. What about my commander decks?
Okay, tell me about your commander decks that you have in the cube.
Okay, Jaxis.
Okay.
The Troublemaker, I believe was her name.
Yeah, Mono Red.
Yes, Mono Red. Yeah, what else do I have? I don't know.
Start naming your decks.
Well, you can look at my profile on Moxfield. Moxfield.com/Renuka. Anyway, that's Commander.
Yeah.
We're not Commander Con.
So this is you're basically when I look at this cube, I feel like it is like you're trying to assemble like cool combinations of cards.
Yes.
It sounds like very straightforward for cube, but like more so in this because it's like higher costing cards. The curve is just a lot higher. Like you said, like when what are there, like 3 white 1-drops in the cube?
4, I think 4, but probably 3 if memory doesn't count. So we have Raven Inspector, Jonathan Brostov's favorite card of all time, probably.
Legally responsible to have this cube to be in CubeCon.
Yes, that's correct. Esper Sentinel.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And another one. It's pretty good. But so yeah, the curve is way higher than you'd imagine for most cubes. Also, if a creature exists just to attack and block and nothing else, it's out. Not in there.
No Tarmogoyfs here.
Tarmogoyf doesn't do anything.
No.
It literally does not have text.
Power and toughness?
Power and toughness doesn't matter in this cube.
It doesn't matter.
It's about the text box.
Yeah. You're not going to make it.
No. There are no vanilla creatures in the cube. Also, the cube is legacy legal, I believe. Not any conspiracy or silver bordered or anything like that.
Legacy legal from a theoretical standpoint. Do you have anything cards that are banned in Legacy in the cube? I mean, not that really matters.
I can't think of what's banned in Legacy, but probably not.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, we've got some archetypes to show you eventually.
Well, speaking of which, do you of the archetypes that you know in this cube, is there a favorite dream you like to live when you're playing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's an enchantment, a red enchantment that costs 3 RRR. Do you know what it is?
3 red.
Correct. It's an enchantment. It came out in M21.
Oh, Fire Emancipation.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yes.
So,
Fire Emancipation in my Exodus deck, which is actually an Awaken the Blood Avatar deck. Let me tell you, that math adds up real fast.
×3 is powerful. So, I designed a Rith the Awakener, the second Rith, not the most recent Rith, and not Brian Kilber's Rith. The Rith in between.
The Forgotten Rith?
Yeah, the Shroud Rith, unless you hit them.
Never heard of it.
So I designed that card with Fire Emancipation's text. It was deemed too powerful for Magic at the time, so we shifted it later on to be an enchantment.
Pre-Throne of Eldraine.
Yeah. Yes. So the early days.
Yes, Dominaria. This was like actual Dominaria, right?
Original, secondary Dominaria. I guess original Dominaria. So
Dominaria proper, not Dominaria United, and
they're not united at all. It's chaos. Anyway, so that could push back, and then I eventually got it as an enchantment. So then I played in all my decks, all my cubes that can play it, and that's my dream. It just casts that card and lightning bolt them for 9.
Yeah, you'll figure it out from there.
The other dream is to have that in play and Boris Reckoner in play. Lightning bolt the Boris Reckoner deals 9, shoot them back 27.
Heyo, that's gonna do it.
Yeah. The Pinatas archetype is one of my favorites. Red white. It's about damage doublers and redirection. So Blasphemous Act on a Boris Reckoner. Well, I've got El Tipper Loner.
Okay, yeah.
The upgraded Spite Mare.
Yeah, that's the new one from Midnight Hunt.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. And I heard a story how it transformed and it was double cloned and they all see each other because the pump spell in the back helps all the werewolves. So they just
doesn't take much damage.
No, my favorite word in the game is exchange. We don't have a lot of cards with that. Second favorite word is copy. So there's a lot of copying creatures, spells, planeswalkers, just anything.
Clever Impersonator and friends.
And friends. Well, one time, a land was tapped for more atoms than exist in the universe. So that's a fun fact. Caleb Dover did that on stream. Check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
yep.
So beyond you trying to live the dream, let's say someone's dream is to make top 64 tomorrow.
Correct.
Because they're trying to win this thing.
Yes.
This is the draft. They need to do it.
Yep.
And speaking of which,
so here, drafting.
I want to talk to you about the drafter that we're looking at, David White. Are you familiar? Have you heard of this gentleman?
I have heard of him a lot, yes. He was the co-creator to Live the Dream Cube. We worked together to bring a full Commander experience to Cube. He introduced me to Commander and helped gauge some of my crazier ideas and brought a lot of his own ideas to the Cube. Speaking of which, if I wanted to win the draft for day 2, I would be first picking Golos.
Well, that is remarkable because that's exactly what David just did.
Yes. So now that David has picked Golos, there's no Field of the Dead in this cube.
Okay, that was actually going to be my next question.
I know.
I love a Golos in the Field of the Dead. Yeah.
Correct.
But Golos on its face is incredibly powerful.
Correct. There's not a lot of land destruction in the cube because I don't want to feel bad. You have 2 lands. Sorry, Tectonic Edge you twice down to 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
So
not all dreams are legal dreams.
There are a few land destructions. Don't get me wrong. Star of Extinction is one. Ashen Rider can be used, but they cost 7 mana or more. So Golos, while it doesn't get you Field of the Dead, it still lets you ramp, fix, and hit that button that you just live the dream by hitting the button.
I see, and David has pulled 3 of the 4 cards that I would be considering to the front, and that's Tropical Island, Tatyova, and Escape the Wilds. I also would be interested in that Yarok because I really like Yarok.
Yarok. So I also like to think about when I'm including cards in the cube, if a card is a lot of people's favorite card, I bring it in.
Rightfully so.
And Yarok is a lot of people's favorite card.
You can't live the dream if you don't have your favorite thing.
Correct.
David eating his vegetables.
I was just he ate his vegetables far earlier than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be eating ice cream there probably with Escape from the Wilds.
Yeah. So we have Kinnan, which a little traumatic for me because I play a lot of Historic Brawl.
Oh, so you probably see a lot of Kinnan?
I do, and I really hate his face.
He's got such a lovable face.
He has a very punchable face.
Well, I mean that's an opinion. I think he's quite a nice little bonder there.
Is that what we want to be looking for here? Now that's obviously with some with a cube that doesn't have a ton of wildly cheap removal.
Correct.
Kinnan can be quite powerful.
Yes. So in a cube about big expensive spells, honestly, you want to take a lot of the cheaper things to fill out your curve. You'll probably find some expensive stuff later on as time goes by, but stuff to fill out your curve early on is very key. Now that being said, if the cube was all cheap removal, cheap universal removal, you won't get to live your dreams like a Tali or what have you. So the removal is pushed up just a little bit.
Like Banishing Light.
Banishing Light is...
That's a 3rd pick. That's a pretty high Banishing
Light.
That's
another vegetable. D-White wants to win this cube.
Yeah, interactive.
Yes. So here we have Fallen Shinobi. And anything that lets you cast spells for free is going to be really strong.
Especially when the spells are of a higher converted mana cost and therefore higher power upon resolution than most cubes.
Correct. The Fallen Shinobi's ability scales with the amount of mana you get. So like you said, so if you hit maybe Fire Emancipation and something, you're living in, Dreamtown, Dreamville.
Absolutely.
D-White also has picked Mox Amber, I believe it is.
What a combo with Golos.
It's a Well, so there are a many 120 some legendary.
So many legendary.
I quoted a number. It's probably not right. I'm sure Chad
and probably even more with Planeswalkers.
Correct. There are a few number of Planeswalkers in this cube. So D-White picked Mox Amber, the only Mox in the cube.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, So that is a Mox that has a very high ceiling, but also pretty low floor.
The worst bauble of all time is the floor.
Correct. So he can still trigger prowess. So now with Mox Amber and Dave's deck, he's going to be looking a little bit more for cheaper legendary creatures to try to ramp into.
Like Kinnan?
Like Kinnan.
Which he passed immediately before.
Well, we'll see if Kinnan tables, and then we'll be able to gauge then.
All right, so we have Leyline Binding. Now, that is going to be a premium removal spell for the Golos.
Yes, some people say Leyline Binding is the most impactful card for Magic the Gathering in 2022. Would you agree with that? You can.
I would have to think about. Honestly,
you can think of every card.
Yeah. What is the list? Can you give me a total number of cards from 2022?
I cannot count that high.
I would say it is a multi-format staple.
Correct, like Cube.
Absolutely. I think it. Oh, for Cube.
Yes.
I would say it's in the top 5 without thinking of the other cards. Absolutely.
Oh, that's okay.
I think that's pretty good.
Well, David White took Azori's Chancery. So a lot of people question Karuz or Bounce lands in the cube. Karus are one of my favorite cards ever printed. Basically, think of a land that enters the battlefield tapped, but says draw a card.
Yeah.
What do you want to play that? And it fixes you.
Would I want to play it over Leyline Binding? No.
No.
But that's quite powerful.
So because the cube mana cost is so much higher than normal cubes, you can have the chance of having more non-games by not hitting your 5th mana to cast spells.
I want to shout out the selection of art on Lotus Cobra right there.
Yes.
It is absolutely unequivocally the best one.
It really is.
It's beautiful.
I spent a long time making sure to get arts that I feel are good. So it's not always the craziest, wackiest art. It's the art that speaks to me the most.
That's how I do my cubes too.
Yep.
And Lotus Cobra is the selection. Obviously, wildly powerful. David is going to be looking at more lands and probably fetch lands as those appear.
Yep. So he's looking for fetch lands. Golos can help fix. He's looking for legendary creatures for Mox Opal. He's looking for evasive creatures for Fallen Shinobi to get the ninjutsu ability because most people don't see that coming. But so Karus shaped the cube a lot because they are 2 lands. So but blowing up a land is terrible. So that's why there are no land destruction earlier than mana 6. Also in the cube, the first one was Flicker Wisp.
That's a problem.
That was a mistake on my part. Yes, yeah. I'd make mistakes.
You accidentally added a Time Walk that's attached to a 3/1.
Correct.
That's a little bit better than Eternal Witness, like getting back a regrowth attached to a 2/1.
That's true. It is in white, which is always the color I'm having to work the hardest to do fun things with. For all the colors in Magic, white's the color that just wants to beat down the strongest.
It's very straightforward.
Yes.
White is about consistency, and that can be difficult in a cube when you're working with singleton.
Correct. So I kind of give white. So some cards are a little more powerful than I'd like for the band to be. White gets a pass sometimes because it needs to fight, blue and red, the good colors.
And black, the best color. But
sure.
So David past the Badlands. Yeah, sorry. David White.
Believe me, it's confusing being half of the David Bear.
Yeah, I'm sure. So David White passed a Badlands earlier. Now, even if he's not ultimately in black and red specifically as one of his 2 color combinations, I actually kind of expected him to take that, only because those lands are so powerful in this cube because they let you fix your mana at no cost to your tempo.
Correct, and they have both land types, of course, for fetch lands, and there's no wasteland or strip mine or tectonic edge or what have you. What did he take instead of the Badlands?
There's a second pick, Fallen Shinobi.
Yeah.
And what do we just take here?
Mana Confluence.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize that art.
Yep, that is the Expedition art.
Yes.
So there's a one mana white drop.
I was like, there's no way that the Giver Runes is the pick. I cannot imagine that.
It might not be. Bramble Sovereign's being considered.
Powerful.
Sun Titan.
If you're looking to get more fetch lands too, Sun Titan, a nice little one.
It can bring back Mox Amber,
which has somehow found its way to the graveyard, and it definitely can.
Correct.
And that is a Modern Horizons 2 sketch card, which I'm not quite sure what it is. I know
Flame Tongue Yearling.
Oh, okay. Flame Tongue Yearling is great. Probably not here. You really obviously need double red to be able to do that.
Yep. So Flame Tongue Yearling is a good example. It is a 2 mana removal spell, but it can be scaled up, which is a key thing for this cube for things to work up that ways. Plus, it has multiple hooks with it. It cares about its power.
Picking Sun type and saying, you know what? Not quite sure. Oh, are we going to go for the Giver of Runes? That would be a surprising pick. I was actually set on Sun Titan.
You were so Sun Titan costs 6, which is about the average mana value for cards in the cube.
Yeah.
So Sun Titan, there's other Sun Titans in the world. There's more fish in the sea. Giver of Runes, though, however, the pick is a 1 mana spell. Not many of those.
Sure. So really playing to your mana curve. And we see Yarok, we see Callus, Blood Mage, and then of course we see Sacred Foundry and Tatiova. So all of the cards,
everything came back
in consideration. This is going to be tough for David, and I bet he's not going to take that Sacred Foundry. Those other cards are just too enticing.
I think he's going to take Sacred Foundry.
You think he should?
No, I would take Tatiova.
Okay,
but I think he's going to take Sacred Foundry.
Okay. Oh, it's a close one.
Sacred Foundry, Tatiova. All right. So I win this round. All right.
Okay.
I'm counting 1 for David and David.
Yeah.
So David helped make the cube, so he knows the right picks. So we're looking at Yurlok, the Score Scratched. Yes.
So
Scorched Thrash.
So that is the Wayback Machine card, which reintroduces mana burn
to
the battlefield.
Not only does Yurlok ramp you, it blocks and attacks and deals damage to your opponent.
Yeah, 'cause that's vigilance.
It does everything.
A rare Jund creature with vigilance, but totally makes sense for the design of the card.
Correct. It was not taken, however. Another card was taken. Or another one was Mox Amber came back around, so correct. He did not take Mox Amber, but he might now. We have Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. Both of those cards want legendary creatures and planeswalkers into play.
Yeah. What is higher impact for the deck that David's trying to build here?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I think it's probably still the Mox Amber, to be honest, because you need to have multiple notable things to get back.
Yep.
And he gets the Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. I do like that card.
Yeah, that card has the ability to win a game, to steal a game.
Sure.
And I like looking for free wins such as that in this cube. Pernicious Deed. At last, Yawgmoth's Treachery is over with Pernicious Deed.
Sort of Fire and Ice and Unburial Rights.
He's not Giver of Runes.
Yeah.
Okay. There are two swords in this cube: Fire and Ice and Hearth and Home.
I like Hearth and Home. Oh, that's really good in this one.
Hearth and Home.
Nice little ramp action.
Yes, Hearth and Home. It probably ramps you the best in this cube and blinks the best in this cube, I'd say, because Blink is the blue-white X archetype. Utter End was the pick.
Okay.
A good solid removal spell.
So David picking up 3 lands.
3 is not bad for a deck.
So there's the Chancery. Oh wait, no, 4 because we have that Mana Confluence.
Right. 4 is good.
Okay,
4 is a respectable number.
4 lands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're there.
Yeah. Okay, what are we looking for in pack 2?
We're looking for 2 mana ramp spells.
This is not near complete yet. Obviously, a long way to go when you're trying to make Golos a thing.
Yep, we've been looking for 2 mana ramp spells. I'm not sure if he'd want land ramp spells such as Farseek or Signets. There's a Noble's Purse that is a 2 mana ramp spell.
Probably not the one you specifically
Not the best one. It's a new one.
And probably not a first pick. Oh, I love an Elspeth Conquers Death.
There's a Gruul Signet.
There's a Signet.
Gruul Signet is pretty good.
Hydroid Krasis
is the other one.
That is a card you want specifically in this deck because you are trying to ramp hard.
Yes.
Bad hit off of Golos though.
Yes, and you can't reanimate it with Yawgmoth's Vile Offering.
You can't.
And it doesn't work with Mox Amber if he has that card or no.
He doesn't. He passed that up. No.
Gruul Signet is what I would pick too.
That's what you want.
Yes.
That's what you want. You want to try to get to your mid game, your 4 and 5s as quickly as possible.
Yep. Turn 1 basically doesn't exist in this cube outside of 7 cards. Turn 2 is the Signet turn.
Yeah. Turn 1 is when you play tap land.
Correct. You play a Triome. A Triome?
Yes. If you can pick those up, and we haven't seen one yet.
We have not.
And this.
Temporal Mastery.
Temporal Mastery. Is it a Seaga's Chariot?
It is a Seaga's Chariot, yes.
Shigatha.
Gigantha. Does anything have duplicate mana right now?
I think I saw Noise Marine. Is that?
That's correct.
I saw Surge Foil. Peeked it up.
Noise Marine is Bloodbraid Elf for 2022.
I love it.
I love a good Noise Marine. So Gigantha might work so far with the cards in his deck.
You gotta I'd double check. That's not one you want. That's not one you want to make a mistake on.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Gigantha, the new Lord of Modern, some say.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The torch has been passed yet again.
We also have Nissa, Vastwood Seeker.
This is the no check.
No check
pick.
Well, I don't believe. Are they allowed to review picks between during drafting?
Dave didn't even ask.
I'm sure David, being a creator of the cube, has every pick burned into his memory.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope so.
Yep.
I want to see this as the companion. I want to see it round 1. I want to see. I have something pregame to reveal, please.
Please, yes. I have a pregame action.
Yes.
Leyline of Singularity.
Please and thank you.
Yes. So we're looking for mana ramp on 2.
Yeah.
Lands.
Big deal.
Evasive creatures for Fallen Shinobi. Did he get the Mox Amber?
No.
Okay. No.
Get it.
Looking
and
all
Vile Offering over it.
Oh, legendary creatures and planeswalkers.
Still got to have that, no matter which one you pick.
But also no repeating mana cost in the top right, which a Johnny Sleeper agent would work for that.
Two big ones. We have a Triome and is that a Flooded Strand?
Flooded Strand, Star of Extinction,
Alrund's
Epiphany. This pack is probably the strongest pack
There's a Dakin
so
also
far.
right there.
Dakin Blackblade.
Yeah. This is a strong win. This is one David would like to take about 5 cards out of.
Yep, I would want to take basically all these cards. I think. I think he'll take the Raugrin Triome, the Jeskai land.
I think he's going to take this Flooded Strand.
Okay.
He's got the Lotus Cobra.
Right. Does he have lands to take? Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So just value that a little bit higher and say, you know what, there's other Triomes.
Yes.
I need to be able to make sure that I can utilize this Lotus Cobra as much as possible because you're talking about 2 mana ramp spells. You need to make sure that is one.
Yep, Lotus Cobra, a Shaman of the make 2 lands for creature mana for creatures.
Looking at Rockfall Vale.
Yeah, in this cube, those lands are basically Tundra and Friends.
So I had to think, but those are all printed in 2021. That would have been my answer as a cycle.
Yeah, they were Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow,
which was the end of last year.
So that is a 2-mana ramp spell. I think that's the one that makes treasure tokens. I should know what they are, but it's new.
Oh, we have another triumph. We have
Zagoth Triumph.
Zagoth Triumph.
Steam Vince.
Oh, I think that's Zagoth Triumph. We have a Garruk Wildspeaker, which is good. We have a Chromatic Orrery. I mean, it's one of the lands here.
Yes.
No way.
I think Orrery can table sometimes. Steam Vince and
is
Zagoth Triumph will not
not
table.
The pick here. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. He's bemoaning the fact that he can't take this Orrery right now.
He's bemoaning. You can tell him right here.
I can tell. I
He's
see
a
a bemoan
bemoaner.
when I know.
That's true.
Yeah, that is the right pick, David. Stop looking at it, shuffle it away, and pass it, buddy.
Just put it like when you shuffle, put it like not the very back, but like kind of in the middle.
Back, maybe third from the back. Yeah.
Oh wait, Space Marine Devastator.
Okay, another squad.
The squad. Oh, Llanowar Visionary does everything you want in the cube.
Lightning Helix, probably premium removal spell for the front end of the game.
Yep. I think
Llanowar Visionary. That's the deck we're making.
Yes, it's Llanowar Visionary. I think here is the pick.
Everything you want to do, something you can play on curve, draw you a card, ramp you a little bit. Great to reanimate.
Yeah, block a 1/2. A Giver of Runes.
He has the 1/2.
Oh, there's only one 1/2 in the cube, right?
Probably just the Giver of Runes.
Okay, great. We have Mizzix's Mastery, which is a super powerful card in this cube.
Not the deck for it.
Not the deck for it. Yep.
Magister of Worth, which I think is really interesting. I would put a little more consideration into this Restoration Angel. And he just kind of floated on by it.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of blink spells in the cube, I don't think, right?
He just picked up a Visionary. He has a Golos.
Okay. I just think the one sided the Wrath of God is
I thought we were talking about getting evasive creatures. Does
Yeah.
that not count?
Magister of Worth is an evasive creature.
That's a 6-drop.
Most of the cards in the cube are 6-drops.
That's exactly why Restoration Angel's so good.
Which one did he take?
I don't know.
Okay, great.
I was too busy arguing with you.
Reasonable. I do that all the time. Blast of Genius is a way to win. Overgrown Tomb is also another way to win. So I think I might just take that one.
Oh, I like Spirited Companion too.
Spirited Companion.
Probably not the pick here because we have this Overgrown Tomb.
Mm-hmm.
Chance says he thinks David took the resto. I believe that he should have taken the resto if he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We will find out.
You have Nahiri the Harbinger, Olivia, 6-mana Olivia.
The Crimson Bride.
Crimson Bride sounds right. Okay. Deputy Detention, kind of like an O-ring.
And I believe this is the pack that David opened on. So we're seeing all of these on the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that black card?
That is Braids.
Oh, the new Braids. Arisen.
Yes. Arisen Nightmare.
Nightmare.
She's back from Dementia Space.
And what did we take here? That was the Hearing?
I always look at you right when David takes the card.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Right.
There's Delina.
Noise Marines.
Noise Marines came back around.
I'm slamming it.
Cloud Blazer? There are two types of people in the world. Noise Marines and Cloud Blazers.
I'm a Noise Marine, man.
I think I'm a Noise Marine too.
Now, if you take that resto, obviously Cloud Blazer can be difficult to resist.
Yes.
But I think Noise Marine is simply just a better card.
Yep. So this card, this cube is called Live the Dream Cube.
Yeah.
Is there a dream bigger than
Cascade? Absolutely not.
I was going to say rolling d20s that explode into more d20s.
No. You would be correct.
You don't like rolling d20s? Like this is like some of the most fun you can have in a game.
I like to Cascade.
Mm-hmm.
I like to get my Cascade
Which is
on.
the D20 rolling for Magic the Gathering. It's
don't take now. This prophetic bolt is very good, and I know that it's very and it's amazing. It's an apocalypse foil, and that's hard to resist.
Yes, it is.
I don't think that was the right pick for my heart. Not gonna comment whether it's the right pick for the deck or not.
Well, David White has played the cube more than you have.
Progenitor Mimic is probably pretty powerful. If
yes, in this cube. So Progenitor Mimic came from a time when you could clone any creature.
Yeah.
Which is already really good in this cube. But despite not having Paradox Haze in the environment, it still is just a dream you can live. Most cards in the cube, besides facilitators like Mana Ramp and Line Fixing, have their own dreams that you can live with.
Take that Ephemerate. Don't be silly. Don't be a silly goose.
I think it might be Shaman.
I think Ephemerate is probably one of the better tricks to save your creatures from removal.
But
It's not-
Shaman of the Forgotten Ways is removal and a win condition. Do you ever cast Biorhythm?
Just
Justin?
removal of your opponent. Yeah, they don't let me anymore in Commander, but I have cast it before in my
Okay.
day.
Yes. Well, there's a good reason why they don't let you. So
I
now it's on a
yeah.
creature.
Take that Ephemerate. Take that Ephemerate, David. Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. That's the
Okay.
pick.
Wow.
That's the pick.
Okay. Sure. You did it. You picked a blink spell. Chromatic Orrery. See? He knew what was up. We've got Avacyn and also
Chromatic Worry.
Karn.
Congratulations. You got it back. I'm glad David did not take it that first time around where it was not the correct pick. Ooh, that is a great Lightning Helix pick.
Yeah.
For his person to the right at 15.
Yeah, Space Marine Devastator.
He did not take the Restoration Angel, but he's getting it 15th.
Wow, maybe you're just off on this cube.
I don't know. I said he needed to pick Restoration Angels, and he did.
He did. Well, maybe you're on this cube then. Have you been keeping track of Gigantha during this draft? So far, it looks pretty good.
You promised me that David had been keeping of it and knew without a shadow of a doubt that he would not be breaking the Gigantha.
I write a lot of checks, and sometimes my cube can't catch.
Yeah. Okay.
Xanathar.
Ooh, Shark Typhoon.
Shark
I like
Typhoon.
that. That's a single pip too.
That is.
Domri adds a little bit of ramp.
I think Prismatic and Cursed Mirror. So Cursed Mirror does combo with Astral Dragon in this cube. I don't have many 2-card infinite combos.
Unlimited combo.
But that one exists because you kind of can see it coming.
You do have to have one of them just straight up on the battlefield. I feel like Shark Typhoon is the pick.
I believe Prismatic Ramp Spell is the pick.
And we're going to see the Cursed Mirror taken to spite both of us.
Oh, Cursed Mirror. Well, Cursed Mirror can attack for lethal. The other two cannot.
Shark Typhoon can attack for lethal.
No, the things that makes can.
No Opalescence or anything in here?
Green. Fun fact for people listening at home. Green Enchantress was the green-white archetype.
Oh my gosh. It's between these three. One of us is going to be right, and it's going to be David. We're both wrong.
Yes,
both
we are
of us
both
are
wrong.
No Shark Typhoon.
I mean, Cursed Mirror works with... Oh, there's Yorion. Sadly, you cannot double Companion.
Also, you can't double... Not only can you not double Companion, you cannot really play a land with a deck with a lot of non-basic lands and draft Yorion.
That's true.
You have to spend those on cards, and I have made that mistake myself. Is this another Signet?
It's a Selesnya Signet, I think.
Sure, it could be whichever Signet you want. I think I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct. If you're Giganthan and you want Signet on 2, Gigantha hand 3, Giganthan play 4.
Love it. Hostage Taker is great too, but Signet is that's what you want here.
Yep.
Hostage Taker always good in large scaling mana decks.
I think Hostage Taker is good. We have a Villainous Wealth.
Villainous Wealth.
One of the biggest dreams in the cube. Kolaghan's Command. The rare 3-mana 2-for-1 double interaction spell is pretty strong.
I mean, I can't resist a K command. I would just take that personally, but
K command is on the border for being a little too efficient for this cube, but I just love casting it so much.
And now, especially with this art, which is incredible.
Yeah,
how can you resist?
I cannot, in fact, which is why it's right here.
Right there, it is.
Yeah, Crystalline Crawler is very strong for this cube.
Yeah, that's a huge jump on mana.
Yep.
If you're trying to activate Golos as many times as you can, Crystalline Crawler, when should be able to activate Domain. Although lighter on lands than I would have expected. I'm a big land drafter, and we do see the K command, which is what I would have taken.
Yeah, I think at this point he was trying to think of which card he could table, and I think K command is the least likely one to do that.
I would say it's going to be gone in the next couple of picks.
Yep. We have a cut to ribbons.
We have a couple of very powerful planeswalkers in Venser, Shaper Savant, not Shaper Savant, Venser the Sojourner, and Liliana Dreadhorde General.
Yeah, but Incubation Druid does not fix you in mana, but it does ramp you awfully hard.
It does ramp you.
Just looking at Moloch. Moloch is a great fight spell.
X red-green with Ravenous.
Correct.
I played those decks last week. They're wonderful.
Thank you. Yes,
obviously, you and I have talked about it.
We have talked about it a lot.
My favorite precons of all time. One weekend.
Yeah, Moloch is a great red-green spell. Red-green often has trouble with its identity. Green wants mana dorks. Red kind of wants to be fast. You're kind of fighting at odds there. But because Moloch again is a scaling threat and removal, it does both things. I try to include removal spells that were also threats, because that pushed them up the curve a little bit and lets you live your dream with your threats.
So good. And we see 3 lands, 3 very good lands, 2 shock lands and a dual land.
We also see Chromatic Lantern.
Yeah.
He's already got the Orrery. He could get both chromatic cards in this cube, which the Chromatic cube on Arena is basically this cube but ported to Historic.
Yeah.
So Chromatic is like another moniker for this cube. Another name for this cube that I've heard is we've got a Reader cube. Because a lot of the cards in this cube have a lot of words, and they're kind of off the beaten path in like Commander products and whatnot. So you don't see them saying your average vintage cube.
I guess that's weird because I'm like, I didn't know all of these cards, but if they're in Commander products, I'm gonna know those.
Do you play Commander?
I've dabbled.
Oh, okay. Well,
we have a great. Oh my gosh, what a pack here! Holy crap! Okay, so we have a Minskin Boo, and I've played against this card and gotten smashed by it.
Yes.
We also have a Binding of the Old Gods, which is a premier removal spell and ramp spell in one package, and then it sticks around to
give
be
your
sacrificed to give your
Death Touch. Come on.
To give your hamster Death Touch.
That's correct.
I don't. What is this other? What is the other card that is being flashed? Is that a Fire's Invention?
No, that is a beat 'em up red creature, the 2/3 professional Facebreaker. Facebreaker.
Oh, I like professional Facebreaker a lot. Yeah,
but that wasn't chosen.
Binding. I mean, I think for David's deck, Binding is better. Minskin Boo is a much better card. Overall, but
I would say it's a stronger card.
Yeah,
I would say
it's not for the aggressive part, but it's for the token. Then the next turn, draw 4 cards. That's a pretty good combination.
And deal 4 damage to something.
Yeah, that too.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, not better card.
And in this world, Minskin Boo is 4 mana. Sometimes.
I actually forgot that.
Yes.
I've only played with it in paper one time. I drafted against it in a cube and got absolutely smashed. And we just see a
Underground Sea?
meat and potatoes, boring old Underground Sea.
Boring old sea.
Boring old, one of the best mana fixers possible for David in this spot in
his Fallen Shinobi deck.
As very light on the lands needed to cast that Fallen Shinobi.
Yep.
Nice pairing with the Zagantha Triome.
Excellent pairing, just like Chef's Kiss.
Absolutely.
It's like, what would be good pairing with Golos, Underground Sea? That's what you want.
Yeah. Would love to see in these last few picks another Triome, but I don't think that's going to be in the cards.
Not at this point. We're pretty deep. Most people are playing, 3 to 4 colors on average. 3.5 colors is kind of the average number of colors with decks in this cube.
If I'm David and I first pick a Golos,
yes,
I'm drafting as many lands as possible.
That's very close to what David did.
I don't think so.
I think it's close.
I think he could have drafted a couple more.
Sure, but is playing lands living a dream?
Yeah, I love lands.
You love lands?
It's my favorite card type in Magic.
Okay, well.
And I'm not joking about that.
Most every deck has lands in it, so nice work.
Yes.
Yep.
I live the dream every time.
That's true.
It's great.
My favorite card type, I think, is sorcery.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, it's the best. That's where the fun cards come.
And the ones that get lands. A lot of those are sorceries.
A lot of them, yeah. But usually green.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah, I know. I'm just so on green.
Mm-hmm.
So, looks like there could be a little choo-choo train
coming in the station.
Somewhere.
Coming in hot. Don't worry. It's coming. Good things come to those who wait. For lands to come along.
And I think that's what we need to see. I don't know how many picks. I think we're about halfway through this pack.
I think we're a little over half. Here we go. Kinney? King Kinrith? Oh, Yannette. How many odd cards we have? Dragon Lord target.
Well. But in a fire emancipation.
I don't think this is the deck for that, sadly. RRR is very hard to cast.
It's one of those top 2 cards. It's either Dragon Lord Atarka or Kinrith.
But it's a 5-color deck. I just feel like King Kinney, this is his bread and butter.
It's true. I agree.
Yannette also has some good hits. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering, Chromatic Orrery, Golos. Like, Yannette has a lot of hits, but Dragon Lord Atarka is one. I mean, it is a removal spell on a dragon.
Attached to an 8/8 Trampler Flyer.
Yes.
Yeah. 8/8 Flampler.
Not trying?
No.
I'm pretty sure she's trying.
And
Xanathar?
And I was right, because this is the wheel pack. This is what he opened. So there are 8 cards left.
Okay. Well, you've done more commentating today than I have. So I'm at a disadvantage. I'm the underdog.
Your disadvantage is your cube. Okay, Garrick, Cursed Huntsman.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously a big sometimes difficult to deal with planeswalkers, sometimes easy to deal with planeswalkers.
Sometimes there are 5 Garriks in the cube, so the
you
the wolves don't work just with this Garrick.
Yeah, you add a load counter to
For
each
Garrick. That is a dream. That's a secret dream. There are many secret dreams riddled throughout the cube.
That's incredible.
Yeah, for every single card besides facilitating cards, I try to have public and secret dreams to live with that card.
That's amazing. That honestly, like that's. I feel like a secret level has been unlocked for me for this cube. Knowing that,
correct.
But we're gonna take a baby Angrath.
Little baby Angrath with the secret layer art. He's so angry, but
He's
so cute.
So angry, but so cute. His anger only makes him cuter, but he doesn't take that. He takes the Beholder.
The Beholder, indeed. It's in the eye. That's where beauty is. Oh, here we have
Siphon
Insight. We also have Heated Sugu, Devouring Chaos, the yellow version.
Yep.
I have all versions but one.
Yeah.
But I rotate them in and out of the cube depending on how I'm feeling. But
yellow version is very striking.
I pick the yellow because it stands out the most.
It absolutely does. Purple's my favorite color, but it stands out the least.
Purple is also my favorite color.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's blue and red put together. So it's just the best color. You're looking at a Satoru Umezawa, I believe.
And what is that the
AC?
AC, so you can play an extra land and draw a card.
Basically, Tatyova,
but a 5/5.
That's correct.
For 6, yeah. That seems reasonable. Umezawa here seems like kind of a weird pick, honestly. Okay, we take the AC.
Yep.
Yeah,
AC is
that seems reasonable.
It's a late soul herder. Blue-white was one of the most winningest decks.
I'm not surprised. I mean, like all of those cards, we got a last pick Restoration Angel.
That's true, and Gonti's the pick. DY.
Gonti's.
Yeah, DY could have picked Karuga and have 4 of the companions.
Hey. Well, you have a choice between
Godless Shrine
or Scrubland.
What would you take?
Do I have Death Shadow?
That's
where I beat you to it.
Do we have near-death experience?
And ironically, see the other card, Shatrix.
So Black-White seems to be an open. Black-White's theme is Reanimator in this game.
Maybe David can transition to it with his last 3 picks.
Perhaps. Well, he's passing 2 good ones for that archetype.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Zariel and Professional Facebreaker came back around.
Man.
Facebreaker gives you mana.
Really sneaky. Yeah.
Really and draws you cards. It does both the things you want in this cube and in Commander games.
Ravager Worm, which is... maybe might not make the main deck, but a pretty probably going to be a highly looked at sideboard card.
Yes, Ravager Worm is a sneaky sometimes land destruction card for 6 mana.
Absolutely.
So you have to watch out for that. I would normally not have 6 mana land destruction spells in the cube, but red green, let's say, needs the love. Red green's archetype that it got a lot of love recently with Moloch and Friends and Minsk and Boo. Gave him some oomph.
Did it? Yeah, a lot of oomph. That card's mostly made of oomph.
Yeah, it is oomph powered by oomph.
Okay, what is David missing here?
David is missing probably fetch lands.
Yeah.
To choose his mana base. Yeah. Because it also works with Lotus Cobra, like you said.
Really going to be relying on the draw step for the most part to get the fixing.
Yep, and not tons of removal, but he's got large swap. The removal he has like Magister of Worth.
Yeah. Magister of Worth,
Atarka. So it's slow removal, which is the type of removal of this cube you want in this cube. Like you don't want Lightning Bolt and Ultimate Price and Cut Down.
No.
So,
well, that's kind of why I like the Lightning Helix, because it obviously that is you don't want a lot of that removal, but that's going to be critical because cards like Lotus Cobra, Professional Facebreaker, if those are played on curve, they can dramatically alter the course of the game because they assist you with mana ramp and they can actually be taken out with removal. So I don't know. I would have wanted like a piece or two, and that's like the perfect one for David's deck.
It's really good. Plus, there's a fair number of Planeswalkers in the cube, and 3 damage can finish off a lot of Planeswalkers when you play them down. They down tick. So I also like damage-based removal spells a lot. So you got to think about, like, in most cubes, you see Lightning Bolt, and like, first pick, pick it every time. In this cube, it has way fewer targets to hit, so it kind of changes how you think about Magic. Not as much as, say, like, Turbo Cube or Devoid Cube or Dichotomy Cube, but it just makes the curve higher, so you have to think about spells slightly differently.
Well, and sometimes with higher curves, I do like to have cheaper cards because then you can do 2 spell turns.
Yeah, so
I feel like that's kind of important too.
Yeah, one of the great feedback I got from my friends at Studio X is the cubes didn't have very small cards, few mana cards at all. It was basically even higher curve. But double spelling gives people agency in what they're using their mana on.
Mhm.
And so the turn you get to double spell is often one of the pivotal turns in Magic, just in general.
Yes.
Being able to double spell. So I tried lowering the cube, and burn spells, you're very rarely burning your opponent off to finish them in this cube. I have played mono red before, but it is big red, the color, not a small red. But so lightning bolt spells, while they're different, they're still pretty strong in cubes like this.
Yeah, I feel like you really have to play a monocolored deck in this cube, regardless of which it is. You have to have a very clear plan of going in, because it's not necessarily about your ability to draft enough cards to play a deck, but it's about identifying what are the cards that are likely to be taken by other archetypes, so I can wheel the rest of the stuff. And that's actually a really tough skill in cubes like this.
It is really, so. In this cube, a lot of cards can win the game. Probably the most cubes cards can win the game. A lot of the removal are planeswalkers or creatures that are removal, and left unchecked, these cards can win the game. But they're 5-6 mana spells, so they often don't get carried away. Other cubes, you don't have as many win conditions, and I'm used to just like having win conditions in my deck. So in other cubes,
I like having questions rather than answers. I'm gonna make you have the answers. I'll have the questions.
Yeah, like lightning bolt by itself can't win the game.
No.
Svanalines in theory can, but not in this cube.
We have that the Giver of Runes, which I think is still a very interesting pick. It's very early. I don't know if it's going to make.
I don't even think he's going to make the deck. I honestly don't.
It's not.
This cube also has the problem, and because you're playing so many colors and so many cards do many things, it's really hard to cut cards in this cube.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
And that's going to be a test. Hopefully, we would see David White advantage here, knowing the cards that are going to have a higher impact over the course of the 3 rounds.
Yes, David, however, is also notorious for playing 41 cards. I am too. I play 41 all the time.
This seems like the worst cube to play 41 in.
Well, but it pains you to cut cards.
Sure, but don't you need to absolutely hit all of your mana every turn?
Yeah, that's why you play 18 lands.
So your 41st card is a land.
Correct. Yeah.
I stand corrected.
You're sitting, but yes, thank you.
I'll stand if I need to, if it makes you feel better.
It will.
I feel like that David really could have utilized basically like any of the Green's Planeswalkers.
So like Garruk Wildspeaker?
Garruk Wildspeaker, Renin 7,
Nisa,
Vital Force, or Vastwood Seer. Honestly,
either one, yeah.
Like
or the creature.
Those were kind of the card. Now we only saw Garruk Wildspeaker, but the green, like the land or ramp focused ones, I think for David's deck to be able, because those are a lot of those mid game cards that are going to stretch between the end and kind of create some focus for his opponent to have to deal with those.
Yep. He also doesn't have tons of 2 mana ramp spells. I think it's 3 or 4 2 mana ramp spells to get you up there.
So we have Signet,
Lotus Cobra,
3 or 4. There could be a 4th.
Yeah, that's what I said.
At least 3.
I said 3 or 4. So green has 5 1-mana creatures that ramp mana. When the cube was originally made, there were only 3, I believe: Gilded Goose, Llanowar Elves, and perhaps Boreal Druid or something. Because I was afraid of 1-mana spells going over the top and just like saying, "Oh, sorry, you don't get to play the game 1-mana spell, 3 mana."
Birds of Paradise in here.
However, looking at the data being ran on Magic Online, green had a very low win rate compared to white. Green had the lowest win rate. So in order to bring green up, I know which knob I can turn. It's the 1-mana ramp knob.
Good to know.
Yeah, but because I have put more 1-mana ramp spells in there, I try to have each color have 1 or 2 mana answers to it.
Right.
I don't like a lot of 1-mana answers to things, but they need to be able to kill elves if you really want to.
Yeah.
So lightning bolt, chain lightning. Blue doesn't have any because it's blue. Black, I think cut down is in this version of the cube, which makes it the worst cube to have cut down in, and makes it a reasonable spell.
No cut down.
Okay, cut down's gone, but like Collective Brutality, some 2-mana spells.
Yes.
To destroy creatures is kind of what I was trying to go for.
Bone Shards.
Bone Shards can do it.
Which is Shriek Maul, evoked.
Yep, can do it.
Yep. Yeah, so there's a handful.
Yeah, it's really tricky because when people give me feedback on this cube, I get told 2 things a lot: too much removal and not enough removal. And as long as those are on the same like amount, you've done your job.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
It means variance has done its job as well.
Correct. A lot of people say, well, why did you put this card in the cube? I'm like, well, did you draft removal? Yeah, but I didn't draw it. I can't change that.
Yeah.
That's not me. There are tools in the cube.
You have done something earlier in life that has caused you to not draw that removal.
Correct. This cube also has very few hard card draw spells. Because all the cards cost 4 to 5 mana. You often are like 1 mana spell, 2 mana spell, 2 mana spells, refill. That's just not a thing you do. You play lands, you play ramp spells, you play 4 mana, 5 mana spells.
Well, to me, what I'm looking at is a lot of the card advantage
It's virtual.
It's virtual card advantage.
Yes.
Or maybe some light cantrips that are not attached to like big sledgehammer cards.
Yep.
Oh, there are a couple, but like something like Oracle Moldiah, obviously really powerful in this cube. Virtual card advantage because you're not drawing cards, but you're able to
put the lands from here to here.
Exactly.
Like the whole point of Magic the Gathering is to put cardboard from that big
Zone
pile
A to
onto
Zone
the
B as quickly as you can.
Yes, basically. There is also card draw spells by themselves don't have dreams to live. What, concentrate, draw 3? Is that a dream? Maybe to some people, not to me. However,
No, that wasn't even a dream in 2002.
Yeah, however, Arcane Endeavor, 7 mana, roll 2d8, draw a card, maybe cast an 8 mana spell from your hand. That's a card draw spell with a dream.
Yeah.
Which is why that's in here.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I'm trying to look and say, like, if I was picking, especially now that I've seen the in-person draft happen, what would be the dream that I would want to live?
Yeah, go take a look, see.
And I'm really honestly, I think it might involve Golos. I really just love that card so much. I would have drafted. I just feel like if you draft Golos and you just draft lands, you don't have to think about picks.
Yep.
Because you're just like,
I'm good.
whatever I want.
Yeah.
Whatever I want.
Maybe
I got
yeah.
the lands. I have like 12 non-basic lands.
You're perfect. You're golden.
Yeah.
So like I think the pure dream of this cube is 1 mana green mana ramp dork, Birds of Paradise, for instance.
Yeah.
Into Chromatic Lantern.
Yeah.
Yep. Into
Your
Golos.
Your mana's totally fixed.
Into Golos.
And to activate Golos.
I was gonna say Chromatic Orrery.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of the pure dream.
Yeah.
And then you activate Golos.
And then you activate Golos.
You hit that button.
All right.
Nothing else could possibly be more fun than hitting that Golos button.
And I'm surprised that the one mana green creatures needed some help because they seem like very game breaking things for here if you have a large amount of them.
Correct.
Because you're able to say you're playing the Live the Dream cube and I'm playing a cube that has a much lower curve by virtue of what I've drafted.
Yep.
And that's like, well, that's not exactly the idea here. So
green just needed some more help, so I've shifted some of the 2 mana green spells to 1. So signets or talismans, if you prefer,
I do.
they kind of break one of the main identities of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
That green can increase your mana,
Yes.
your permanent mana. So because any color in this cube can do that, I've got every single 2 mana rock in the game in the cube. Green needed some more help with their identity.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Like, I'm not playing the sunburst ones that give you temporary mana.
No, you mean solid mana. Talking
Yes.
talismans, signets.
All the Noble
Mind
Purse,
Stone.
Mind Stone, Prismatic Lens, even Treasure Map, for instance. Like all these things. So green needed some help to differentiate what it can do in this cube.
And when I personally design cubes, I like to make sure that green is the best at doing that. So I don't push that artifact mana too hard. Now, obviously, very different cube than this.
Yep.
But I don't want to say you have 10 signets, you have 10 talismans. It's okay to have some of that, but you have to, because of the small amount of it, you have to pick it higher.
Yep.
In those cases. So it makes total sense for green to have access to that type of stuff. All right. Any final thoughts before we take a break and then come back and watch David try to take down the draft with a cube he helped design?
I'm excited to. David White also has loot. Anyway. This cube has been a delight to watch so far.
Yeah.
I really want to see David White win the game as one of the designers of the cube, and I can't wait until we come back and I get to commentate it more with you.
Awesome. Me too. And we are excited for you guys to come back. But for now, we are going to take a break. More CubeCon action coming at you in just a moment.
Don't go anywhere.